Good morning, one and all. Welcome back to Red's Homestead. So if it's your first time here, thank you for coming. We are a family homestead. We just moved here about 7 months ago and doing this all for the first time. So we make lots of mistakes. It's kind of what we do. So this is actually the next day after the footage that I had all recorded of a whole bunch of stuff that we did. And I was gonna post it and get all that good stuff done today. But then I realized I don't really like the idea of what I did. You know, we put in a lot of this work, and then I realized there's a better way. There's a better way to do it. And just to show you that right there, that's the video of everything that we did. Well, half the stuff that we did. And I realized I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like it. Luckily, my wife came up with a better idea with her trusty old Pinterest or Instagram, whatever she used, and we could figure out something else to do. So I was originally going to title this video something like building a raised bed with pine logs or reusing pine logs. I don't know, something like that. I haven't fully thought that one through. But we're completely changing it because as I was doing all the editing, I was thinking to myself, you know, what if I had to do this all by myself without help? I know some of y'all probably do it by yourselves. I have no idea how you do it. I mean, that's just kudos to you. Hello, my ladies. Good morning to you all. Can I get by? Please? Thank you. Maybe you're doing this yourself because your significant other or whatever has no interest. Because let's face it, it's work, hard work. So not everybody has the desire to do it. Or maybe you just don't have a significant other at this point in time. I hope you find one. But what I was always wondering is, how do you do it? I'd really like to hear from you guys on how you do it to yourself, because just watch a good example of how I know I couldn't do this myself. A, because I work full time at my main job. I don't have the time to grow a homestead just on a couple hours a week. But this is an example of what we did yesterday where I absolutely needed my wife. So I came out here, started drawing up my flower bed, my garden beds that I was gonna have, getting all my rows prepared, and kind of what my idea is, I was going to use just some trees that we cut down as liners and make my own little raised beds out here. And then Shannon came out. We're building a fence line.
Well, that's because we discussed it yesterday.
We discussed it. So if we can get back to that, we'll get back to that. But for now, we're building a fence. We wrapped up at least the part of the fence here that we had the materials for. We don't have any more 4x4s, so I can't really go any further, and we've kind of got some things in our way anyway. Yeah, to go further. I guess technically I could have done the majority of that myself, but A, it would have taken a lot longer, and B, when you're doing projects like that, especially fencing, there's just monotonous staple here, clip here, blah blah blah. It's so much better to do it when you have a second person with you. Fluffy butt hut, scratch cranes. Really trying to encourage them as it gets warmer to come out here more. They're so used to being in the coop because it's so big that they don't ever really need to come out here. But we need them to. Need them tilling. And I wouldn't even say homesteading alone is necessarily just doing all the labor stuff yourself. Like in our case, I don't homestead alone, but I think knowledge as well factors into doing it by yourself. If you're trying to do it by yourself without getting any insight or opinions or advice from someone that has done it a lot more than you, you're kind of homesteading alone. About 70 degrees, at least this afternoon, is gonna get to that. So I think I'm gonna leave this greenhouse open. Just in my case, I don't homestead alone, but I get tons of advice from, you know, people on YouTube that are commenting. But also, I think everybody, even if you're experienced, needs to have some kind of mentor. Like, even if you've never even met this person in, you know, real life, it's on the internet like I do with, you know, the people that comment on YouTube. But me personally, I have a mentor. Probably my father would be my best. I would say my father's probably the biggest mentor I have. He's actually the one that maybe cancel this idea, because I was having second guesses about it, and then I was talking to him. He's like, well, why don't you do it this way? Like, oh, why didn't I think of that? So that's going to be an upcoming video. But, you know, he knows everything and anything about gardening. When I have a question about gardening, I always ask him, and he usually has the right answer for me. So if you have a mentor, give him a shout out. Let me know what kind of ideas they've given you. Have you done the chicks yet?
Yes.
Oh.
I didn't know who you were talking to.
I guess I don't need to do the chicks. Let's go look at them anyways. Hello, sweet babies. How is everybody? So this is exactly what I want to see. They're not all huddled together, but they're not all huddled away from the lights too. It's actually getting quite warm, so these are pretty high up. We're keeping it, they're about a week old now, so we try to keep it around 90 down into the light, so then whatever the temperature is in the room on this side. So coming in and seeing half over there just eating, drinking, laying down, half over here just laying down, and then they're all, once I come in here, quite active and moving. Looks like we have the temperature settings pretty well. Cuteness overload. Hello. Hello. You might have been wondering what that dryer in the middle of the room was. Well, that dryer died. And I think I fixed that one once, years and years ago, and that's like a 12, 13-year-old. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever really bought a washer and dryer. I think they've always been hand-me-downs. But that one it's pretty much gone. And I have a new one coming, hopefully, anytime. It was supposed to be this afternoon, but he called early this morning, about 7 o'clock. He's like, hey, we're in the area, we can drop it off. I was like, yeah, I'm up, let's do it. So hopefully he comes soon. I'm gonna be leaving this out. Let's see what it is. This is oregonite, because I have to get this done today. The chicks should be laying in the next month and or not the chicks. The chickens, or hens over there, should be laying in the next month to 2 months. So oregonite, if you don't know, most people probably do. Calcium supplement, ground mollusk shells, oyster shells, whatever. And it just helps with their egg production. And I just give it to them as a free range type source in the mineral feeder. So I have to get that set up before I forget. So I'm leaving it out in the open, so I gotta remember. They love the fluffy butt hut. But in the near future, I'm gonna go ahead and get those pine logs and do my other idea. That'll probably be the next video. I'm gonna do, I think, shorter but raised beds 2 deep. That's kind of the pictures that I saw. Yes. Oh, they knocked over their water. I need to refill that. Their only water source. They have a big one on the inside that we leave in there with them, but this is kind of just, we want them to stay outside. They're like kids. They always want to stay inside and play video games. So the pine tree build, that's going to be first. Probably today or tomorrow. I'm going to try to knock that out. Second thing that's going to be happening is this raised beds here. Once I get rid of these pine logs right here, still want to do a raised bed system. So the idea that I got from my mentor, my dad, is it's similar to what nurseries do, professional nurseries, is I'm gonna get these stakes. Well, she locked the door, but they're like the little yard stakes that you just hammer in the ground. I'm gonna get those, run a line of them, and take all the scrap tin that I have and just put them against the yard stakes, and then that creates a raised bed. Something so, I have tons of scrap tin, and those yard stakes you can get like a dozen for $3 or something. Why did I not think of that? As we continue to grow, like we're still growing really fast. I mean, lots of new subscribers, watch hours, all that cool stuff. That's just really, really exciting to see. But as we continue to grow, my wife, she was thinking, so what are we gonna do if we get 250 subscribers? Do something special? Like, well, we can. She wants to get turkeys. I don't know anything about turkeys. I know a little bit. I know what I've seen on, what I've read and what I've seen on YouTube. But how do you keep turkeys from it going everywhere? You know, that's a big thing for us, is we have to keep them enclosed because we don't have a fully enclosed lot. You know, we use the Premier fencing as a way of, you know, maintaining our animals. But I don't want to buy a whole nother one of those. Those things aren't cheap. And also, I know they have a completely different roosting style than a chicken does, so I have to build something else out of that. So I don't know if we can feasibly do that. We'll have to see if we can actually afford it, because I have to do things still for the rabbits. I have to build them tractors, grow out cages, things like that if I want to breed them. So we are in a major time crunch issue, so we'll see what we do. I want to do something special, and it may be turkeys, but we'll just have to see what we could afford. One thing that is really cool is I went ahead and got some new editing software that I'm going to try out. I figure, you know, if we're growing the way we are, who knows what can happen. I want to start making these a little bit, maybe more professional. So I went ahead and got some editing software. I'm going to play with it over the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. So for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to continue doing this like I normally do, using free software in my iPhone. But I'm going to do probably a big, you know, homestead tour, videotape that, and use the new editing software to tweak that and maybe get that out in a couple weeks. So exciting times. Oh, now that the temperature's up, looks like my radishes are coming. And over here, yeah, I see a little bit of sprouting. I'm a terrible gardener when it comes to labeling and knowing what it is. Somewhere I have beets, somewhere I have radishes, and somewhere, hello lovely, and somewhere else, I don't know what I have. I think I put some more kale direct sowed in here. I'll figure it out when it comes up. But I know it's quick turning plants, so because I want to use that for summer harvests as well. So I'm hoping that we get a quick turnaround. The wifey throwing out the getting old spinach. You're bleeding.
Yeah, I just realized.
So they're gonna have a little bit of a blood-covered spinach. Seasoned to perfection. All right, here it comes. Special delivery of a dryer.
The window open. No, I didn't record it.
She's talking about a bird got stuck in an old vent where there used to be a fireplace at some point in time, and she had to get it out. And our dog wanted to eat it. But anyways, yeah, this dryer's kaput. Brand new, won't start. It's getting all the voltage that it's supposed to. Everything's connected up right. I just want to need an easier day, so we're hanging up clothes before we go to Lowe's. And that rhymed. So going back to Lowe's and seeing what they can do. All right, well, we got the dryer reordered. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow. On to new projects. After a long day of pecking and scratching, sometimes you just gotta relax at the fluffy butt hut. Ain't that right, ladies?